Hello, so this is a tour of my boat I have for sale. It is a 1976 Catalac 9 metre. She's berthed here currently in the water at Portishead Marina with the guide price of £22,000. Today I'm just going to go and give you a walking tour of just the exterior of the boat. I do apologise slightly in advance because it is a bit windy today, so hopefully you can hear me well and the wind noise isn't too bad. So first of all, I'll take you for a quick look around the exterior of the boat, and start off over here and I'll give you some facts and figures about this particular vessel. She is 9 metres in length. She's only 4.2 metres wide, so it's a really great size in terms of being still a catamaran and still being able to fit into a lot of berths in marinas. They're very good for that. In terms of her what she draws, her draft, she only draws 0.8 metres draft, which is brilliant because it means that you can go in very shallow waters, as well as you can kind of beach the boat, no problem at all. In fact, many people do that just to scrape the bottom of the boat, so it makes maintenance of it a lot more easier. So I'll come on board now and I'll show you through some of the key features that we got on deck, and also in the cockpit area as well. I'm going to split this video into two, so we're going to first of all do the exterior and then we're going to come on to the interior, which will be a separate video. So firstly, we'll start here on the stern. So as you can see, we've got the custom skirt or dodger, as you call it, with the name embroidered onto the back of the boat. The rigging, so all the standing rigging has been replaced, as well as the running rigging, which was replaced only in 2022, so it's only a few years old actually, so it's got more than enough life left on it, and as you can see, it's actually on perfect condition with all very little use on it as well. On the stern of the boat, where you can see we've got the 220 volt outlet for the electric supply, as well as the LED stern light. All the lights have been replaced with LED, including a new tricolour anchor, which has the anchor and port and starboard, and then you've kind of got the side lights as well. Those are LED, and as well as the steaming light just halfway up the mast, just below the radar reflector up there. So on the stern here, we also have access to these rear hatches here. So these rear hatches is where you would access the two fuel tanks, which they're separate fuel tanks. They're both stainless steel, and they have about 45 litres in each tank. I just realised there was an error on the ad, and so they are actually 90 litres in total. So I'll just lift these up. Apologies, I have to try and do this one-handed. So there's the stainless steel tanks there, and you can actually see the quadrant there. So there you are, and so you would fill up directly into these tanks here. That's the best and easiest way to do so. So I'll just put it back on there now. So not much else on the stern. We've got a little bracket there which can be mounted for a tender engine, with the little step there that can rest it on there. It's where we used to sit our little 3.5 horsepower dinghy engine on there as well. So as well as doing the standing and running rigging, we also upgraded a lot of the deck hardware, including some new blocks. So these blocks that have been included here, they're seldom blocks. So this one's actually got a 3 to 2 ratio, so it's an excellent pulley, I must say. And you've got to be honest, you've got far too much line here on the main sheet there. But it has an optional. This can slide along these tracks. So if you want to set your sail up for that kind of perfect shape, then it's got the flexibility to allow you to do so. Coming into the cockpit itself, I mean, these boats are fantastic in terms of space, not just obviously for going out cruising, bringing the family on board, but also for entertainment space. As you can see here, you've got absolutely heaps of space. So if you just wanted to sit and enjoy a glass in the marina, enjoying the sunshine, these are fantastic for that. And you can comfortably be split 8, even as many as 10 people in here, certainly without feeling on top of each other. So they make absolutely brilliant for entertainment purposes, and even for a liveaboard. Actually, the gentleman that we bought it off was living on board for a couple of years. There is a couple of I suppose changes he's made to the interior, but we'll come on to them into when we do the interior video. But no, as I said, these boats are brilliant for entertainment purposes. In terms of their safety, they're very well renowned for their safety, these boats. Even though at first glance they might come across as a coastal cruiser, sorry. Many has very successfully crossed the Atlantic from Europe, and in fact they're all over the world. They were built in Britain originally. And they were built, the initial, I'm just going to come into the wind if that's okay, if you don't mind. I'll just hover it here just so you can kind of get a glance of what it looks like here. But they were built with the North Sea in mind, so they were certainly built with safety when it came around to their design. The unique style of this vessel is that there's no keels in this boat, and there's deep V rocker hulls. I do recommend maybe doing a bit of Google on them, so you can kind of see for yourself exactly what I mean by that. But the fantastic part about that is that in heavy seas they are designed actually to slide down the waves. So you do feel absolutely very, very safe in these boats, and particularly as they were designed very much to bring the family on board. Certainly I have a young child, and when I come with my wife on board, and we've been out with some pretty, pretty rough seas actually, and we felt not a problem absolutely at all. So they're really great when it comes to that. So I'll kind of walk you through a bit. So here obviously you've got the exterior lockers here. So these are, as with most boats, full of all sorts of bits and bobs. A lot of it will stay, not all of it. Some of them are my personal belongings, of course, but as you can see, one thing I will show you, one thing I do show you. So we've got the galvanic isolator, which is, excuse the mess, sorry, that's connected up via the 230, so that kind of prevents against some galvanic corrosion, particularly when you're hooked up in the marina. I normally don't leave the boat hooked on. I leave it disconnected, and I only connect it up to the shore power as and when I need to do so, just to minimize any risk of that. And then so we've got some extra jerry cans with some fuel in here, and then this is full to the brim with tools and spares and all sorts of typical things that one would tend to find on a boat. In addition to these back lockers we've got here, we've also got a lot of new lines, some docking lines, as well as some of the new, relatively new running rigging. I tend to keep the running rigging off the boat, just to try and reduce the amount of UV degradation and try and keep them in the best possible shape as I can. I haven't actually got them set up here, but I do have some bespoke made outdoor cushions in here, which actually do make the cockpit area look jolly nice. I'll probably include a separate picture of those. I've just removed them just to simplify showing you what they are at the moment. Now, engines. I'll come on to the engines slightly, but it's a twin engine, 2 diesel, which are both 10 horsepower. On the port side, we've actually got a very new, it's only been installed 3 years ago now, which is a Nanny 10 horsepower. It's the N210 version. Only done about 150 hours, and obviously, it works absolutely beautifully. We've also got on the starboard side, this actually has, it's a Yanmar 1GM10. We've just done a significant amount of work to the engine, but what I'll do is I'll go and show you that in a bit more detail once I've kind of taken you around the exterior of the boat. So here in the cockpit, one thing you also might notice is that with the flooring, I'm actually stood on, this is actually called sea cork. So it's actually cork, but it's lovely on the feet, very comfortable. The great thing about this stuff is that you can, once it kind of starts to show its age a bit, which of course it will do over time, especially with the sun and all sorts of weather elements getting to it, we can sand it back very lightly and always make it as good as new. In addition, I also have a kind of protected sealing stuff which is bought directly from Sea Cork. I bought them from the manufacturers directly in France, and which they recommend to apply to it. So you can put that on and it will last a few years. I do actually have also some extra sheets available. I probably have enough to redo this entire surface again. Again, I'll be happy to supply that along with the boat. Should you wish to, you could overlay them, for example here, if you wanted to double them up and have some fresh looking cork down, or perhaps you might want other ideas if you wanted to use them elsewhere along the sides, or perhaps up on the bow of the boat, then that would be no problem at all. So here at the helm, basically it's got the original steering wheel here. It's a relatively basic setup, but it works, practically works, I think, very, very well. We've got this, as you can see, now this is an original, this is actually a custom-made spray hood, which is, we absolutely love it. It's great for reducing the weight on the boat, but the reason why we had it here is that a previous owner, a couple of previous owners ago, actually removed the original cover, and we weren't too happy with what the previous owner did, so we put we got this custom made, and it's lovely, and it gives you complete full visibility, especially when at the helm. And the fantastic thing about it is that if you're sailing at night or kind of the weather's a bit bad, you can actually kind of close yourself in here and still have complete access. So, and we actually have a chair which we can just pop up here, and then we can sit here, and you can sit here without getting wet. And that all works very well. The two front windows at the front, they actually roll up, so if they if you're struggling to see out them for whatever reason, then you could do so. And so that all works absolutely brilliant. And obviously it was done with the same cloth with a matching on the skirt there as well. The guy who did it did an absolute fantastic job. So in the cockpit, so we obviously winch handle for winches. So we've got the two main winches there. They're not self-tailing. It's never something that we've ever needed, but you just kind of click them off onto here. But they're 2-speed winches, and they work absolutely great. I took them apart and kind of use winch oil on them every year to keep them running nice and smooth. And then I'll come on, then we've got this small one here. This is primarily used for raising the main halyard, which again I'll come on to that shortly. When we move forward on the boat, I'll take you through some of the deck hardware that we've got. So it's twin helm, twin engine, as I mentioned. So I've recently just changed the Morse cables as well. They were getting a little bit stiff, so now they're running really lovely and smooth now. No problem at all. Very easy to get in and out. As well as that, we've kind of got your depth, which is they're kind of working, as you can see, along with your wind as well. So it's the clipper one, which has got the wireless sitting on top of the mast, but you also have the kind of wind indicator up there, should you have need any confirmation there. In terms of chart plotters, I just have this bracket, so where I just put a mount on for phone, tablet, and I just have a Navionics subscription. And then I have inside, I actually have a scan strut. Where have I gone? there it is. So that's a scan strut USB connector, so you can plug your phone into there and do that. Like I said, I will do a proper interior tour separately. I just wanted, while it's reasonable weather today, I wanted to get today's shoot just done on the exterior. You've obviously got, then you've got your kind of compass there on just on the front there too as well. In terms of autopilot, now it does have an autopilot. Now it is old, but it is functional at the same time. So I've got it kind of just set on just to kind of show you how it works. It works by actually, it's this is the drive unit, so this kind of clips into there, and there is a belt which you basically connect the belt into there, and the belt goes round to the teeth onto the steering wheel. It's quite a standard setup, particularly for these wheel pilots. But that's it. So then basically when you set your course, you can, for example, if you want to set it, let's say set that, and you can see now the engine's now engaged now. So if I now tweak the heading, which is using this compass here, you can see it will engage that, and it will eventually just adjust itself to get it on course. Let's turn it back. And then it goes around. And then and then that's how it works, and you might find it adjust itself there, and you know it's perfectly functional, and it's certainly done us on a number of big journeys there. Well, I'll just unplug that, otherwise it'll be keeping going off and get a bit annoying. Okay, there we are. Fantastic. So let's now move forward, I think, on the boat. I don't think there's anything else really to see here at the helm. Oh yeah, so there is an external speaker for the VHF radio. That's one thing that's fitted. So the radio is down in the navigation room, which you'll see in a separate video, and as well as an AIS receiver as well. And so I will put, I normally just put my little handheld radio in here and do that. So let's now move forward and have a look at the rest of the boat. So as I mentioned, when we got the rigging done on the boat, the rigging was done by Ratseas, which is in Milford Haven in South Wales, sorry. Now I've got all the paperwork, the electronic paperwork, that is, to kind of just proof of receipts, so you can see the exactly work that was done. Those can all be provided should you wish to see them, as well as doing the running rigging and the standing rigging. We also got a lot of the deck hardware kind of upgraded and replaced. So we've got these big clutches here, and as well as the those rolling blocks. I've forgotten what the actual name is for them now. Along with them, then we've kind of got these blocks here. So these blocks here are for the sheets, for the jib sheets, or sorry, for the Genoa at the front. So the sail setup, and these are Selden blocks here, and these are the spin lock, and again more Selden blocks down here. And so it's been designed in a way that effectively you could raise or lower the mast directly from the cockpit. Now, obviously, it doesn't always work. Sometimes it can snag a little on the lazy jacks, but you know that's pretty common. But I did have some old what they call cleats on the mast, which I removed, and since doing that, it's made it so much easier, and it's much less things to snag on, basically. I'll comment on the sails in a bit, but no, so you can actually, so the main high lead will come through the block here and then travel back aft, and so you can use that winch there, and you can actually hoist it from here in the cockpit. The same goes for, designed for 2 reefing blocks as well. So you can get your 2 reefs, so for for the front and the back of the reef, and they can also come and make their way back to there as well, should you want to do that. So interesting, this mask is actually tabernacle, is that the word? I think so. Basically it can actually lower effectively, so lowering a mask, in theory it can be done without the need of a crane. I haven't done that. I haven't had a need to do that. But essentially you can see there's big bolts here, and they can be taken out, and it kind of pivots on there, and the mast actually does lower to that. But do you wish to do that, if you wanted to take it somewhere where you needed to do that, then that's no problem at all. And so we have a sail cover here. Sail cover, been totally transparent, probably has seen slightly better days. It works, it's functional. I haven't needed to replace it, but it might need over time a little bit. You can see there's the kicker there for that too. But we've got a basic lazy jack system, and they all work absolutely fine. Not much else there, I don't think. So this is the main halyard, and that's the I'm losing all my words now, I do apologise. Topping lift, that's the one. That's for obviously the back of the boom just there. Great, so now front of the boat, again, fantastic amount of space here for lounging, just relaxing here as well. We have a life raft, 4-person life raft. It dates to 2019. It does need a service. It is due, so should the new owner want to take, then they'll need to consider doing that. And then we've got at the front, so as well as getting the standing rig in, we also got a new forestay, and we also upgraded and got this new roller furler, which is the Seldon 204S model. So it was designed to take the more heavy weather. It's absolutely brilliant, and it goes up and it fails back in fantastically. So that was a really good upgrade that we got there on the boat. We've got the front hatches here, and there's a couple of solar panels. This one actually is disconnected. I was going to replace it, but this one here at the front is a 50-watt solar panel. That's really just designed for trickle charging the main house battery. I'll cover the batteries when I go through the interior video, but it works great, and to be honest, that's all we really need. But should you want to upgrade it, if you want to get a second solar panel, then I think they work quite well, and you could remove this and fit another one of those Renogy panels on there, and they're nice, they're out the way, and you haven't got a great big solar arch needed on the back, so that would work very well. So these front lockers here, you've got access, lines, fenders in there. I think we've got an old paddleboard in there, just got a puncture in it, so those are all pretty standard, but plenty of space there. And now on this one, so we've actually set this up, so we've actually got a battery in there, which is going to be, it's a new, well, relatively new, it's a dedicated battery for the windlass, which is here. Now it's all there, it's all, the windlass itself has been installed. It just needs to be connected up, basically, so that's something that you will need to do. I got pretty much half the job done. I just, in all honesty, haven't had the time to finish it off. But the solar blades on board, I've got a split charge relay which has been kind of connected up, so the idea is that it would be charged via the new engine battery, and that would via the split charge relay, and it would charge this dedicated battery, which is for the windlass itself. And then you've got the up down switches here at the front. Anchor is the original Danforth anchor. It works absolutely brilliant. It's held us here in the Bristol Channel very well, actually. Had no problems with that at all. Chain, there's about 50 meters of chain, some links, there's a little bit of rust there. I'd probably kind of take those out, to be honest, but the rest of it is all fine. It's marked, and you've got a decent amount of road there too, as long with a 10 kg kind of spare anchor there as well. And then front of the boat, trying to think if there's anything else here. The windows are all the original windows, but they're brilliant. They're absolutely great. They don't leak. We haven't had any problems with leaks. I think they were originally built by a caravan company back in the 1970s. The great thing about these windows, and again you'll see them better from the inside, is that they can move in. So we actually leave them open all year round. And you know, we have no problems with mold whatsoever. That is the trick, and they're designed in a way that you can leave them open like this, facing in. No matter how heavy it rains, we don't get any drops of rain in there. They're really, really good design. I don't know why you can't get them that type of thing nowadays. Some old technology just works and continues to work. Some people on these boats have upgraded, changed them to kind of fixed windows, but frankly I think that's these work brilliantly. I wouldn't change them at all. I think that pretty much wraps up the exterior of the boat. Like I said, if anyone's kind of got any questions or anything particular or anything that I've missed, then feel free to just give me a call or send me a message, and then that will be great to do. So I personally prefer to speak over the phone rather than just via text, but if you really want to do it via email, then that's no problem at all. But yeah, that's it. So like I said, here Portishead Marina, she's open, ready for viewings from now. So if you're interested, then please let me know, and I'll be happily to oblige. Okay, thank you.